Okay, in this video we're going to talk about this UC-15 IP or ice maker and how to replace the manifold. There's a new kit now available for this machine. It comes in this big box. And here's the part number 704-1535. It's a huge box, and if you have never done one before, you expect to spend a couple hours at least doing this. But I just want to explain the new concept here, what they're doing, because these machines were prone for leaks, and it was one of the weak spots on the whole machine. It always leaks, and I've seen $1-million apartments flooded out because of it. So let me explain what's going on. Now, the old manifold, which is right here, what happened, or the way they set it up before, was the water supply line, which is right here, came in and went into this side of the manifold, which is the inlet side. Okay, I'm going to take this out. This is the inlet right here. So your water supply, which is this line right here, which connects to your water hookup, and they had this copper line going into the water inlet like that, which in my opinion is the wrong kind of a setup. For one thing, I don't know if you can see it, but this copper tubing is all corroded and it's calcified, and that's why it leaks. So if you run into a project like this, then you're gonna see what I'm talking about. But in the meantime, so here's your manifold, here's your water supply line, which came in like this, and then your water valve right here goes like this, and this line right here came out of the manifold into the water valve, and from out of the water valve it went up to the evaporator, supply the evaporator with water. Now, the new setup works like this. The water supply line, which originally was this, now comes into the front of the water valve right here. This is also a compression screw-on. You can also use this. This is an adapter for a push-on. So this, went like this, came up on the side of the machine and went into here. So now they got the water supply line going into the front of the valve, which is a much better setup, because when this manifold is under constant water pressure over time, you see what happens? You get leaks. Now the new system comes into the front of the water valve, the inlet, comes out of the water valve and goes into the inlet of the manifold, as you can see right here, and then comes out of the manifold and goes up to the evaporator. So now here's another way you can fix this without buying this kit. It's just a very tedious job to do. I would recommend bringing it into a shop if you have it, because I did it in a customer's house today, and it was a cramped space, and it took me 2.5 hours, because after I got everything all back together, I had a water leak. And I'll show you where the water leak is. It was coming out of here. I didn't know it at the time, but this fitting here was cracked, and the water, when the machine was calling for water, it was leaking out of here, and I thought it was coming from the valve. It turned out it was this. And these are good pieces to hang around, or to actually carry around with you if you're a service person. I'm going to give you here's a new one. Here's the part number. It's a 701-3046. So now, if you want to experiment with this and do it without the kit, here's how you do it. You bring your water supply into the front of your water filter. Normally it would be this line, and I would not use copper, but you do have a compression fitting on here. So you can unscrew this and put a compression fitting on here with a little ferrule and a nut, and you won't have a leak. You're probably going to have to extend the tubing, but that's not a big deal. So when it comes, so your water supply is going to come in here, then it's going to come out of the water valve, and you don't need this elbow here, so you can take this off, and you might even have to cut this down a little bit because it's a little too long. But anyway, it comes out of the water valve, goes into the manifold like this, okay, and then it comes out of the manifold and it goes up to your, this is the pipe, like tubing that goes up to your evaporator and supplies your evaporator. So you would hook in this piece right here, which would go into here like this, and there's a little squeeze clamp on here, which I don't have with me, but it's on the old machine. You put that in like that. Then I took this elbow, which came off the side here in the front, out of the back, and because this is not movable, and if you don't have the room behind it, because the compressor's right here, I put this in like this, and then put this in like this. So now you've got a system that works, and as long as the manifold is not damaged from the corrosion, that's the way, that's a more safe way to operate this machine, because the water pressure will not affect the manifold unless the machine is calling for water. All right, so now in previous videos we had a way to bypass the manifold, where you would just bring your water line right into your water valve, and then from there you would go up into your evaporator coil without using the manifold. But you got a water filter on there, you might want to use it. So that's how it works, and I hope this video has been helpful. It certainly was a process to learn it.